All right, how we looking? We looking good? Are we looking good now? How we looking? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode 4 of the Thego Lopez podcast, and I am way too loud. I'm really spicy on this mic today. Roberto, can you turn that down? Robert, can you turn that down, please? Just a little bit. Hold on, let me have a chat with Robert here. All right, how we looking? Roberto, how are we looking? Oh, now we're looking good. Now we are looking good. All right, folks, it is the Thego Lopez podcast, episode 4. We did it. We still haven't released episode 3. Episode 2 is cooking. So, episode 1, 14 views. Episode 2, 1,100. I don't know what 1,100 people I got to listen to this podcast, but you know what? You're welcome. You're welcome, and you owe me. So when I get a sponsor, you better buy something from that sponsor. Still no sponsors. That's okay. It's episode 4. We're just doing 4. 4 out of, 2,500. Let's set a goal. Goals are good. You got to have goals if you want to be anything in life, right? So we're going to do 2,500 episodes. And at the end, I'll drive my car into a river. How's everybody doing? How's your week been? Has it been good? Have you not been thinking about Iran? Hopefully you haven't been thinking about Iran, because that's a bummer. Have you been looking at gas prices? Don't look at gas prices. Take the bus. Take the bus. And get a Clipper card so you don't have to pay for it. Steal someone's Clipper card. Reach into someone's purse and grab their Clipper card. And then run. Run as fast as you can. And then take the bus for free. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. So, what are we doing? I mean, there's no format to this podcast. There's no format at all. I'm so stressed. I just go. I go from work. I come here. I turn my shirt inside out so that my bosses don't know that I'm recording a podcast in their company shirt. I get everything here together as fast as I can, and then get worried looks from the librarian. She's like, that guy must be on drugs. There's some sort of narcotics he's on. He's moving so quickly. But it's not. It's anxiety. That's what we do. We run on anxiety. When you're young, you do drugs. You do lots of drugs because they make you forget. And then when you release drugs, you go with anxiety. You just run on anxiety. And caffeine. Lots of sweet, sweet caffeine. There's a Starbucks on every corner for a reason. Because there's a new drug dealer. That's what they are. They're adult drug dealers. Who are all the other adult drug dealers? Well, you got Moderna. You got Starbucks. You got In-N-Out Burger. That's adult drug. That's a good adult drug. That's healthy. That's like the pure heroin, you know? That's like, remember the movie Pulp Fiction? It's like that, but instead of the guy like describing the different types of heroin in Pulp Fiction, it's like the guy describing the different burgers, you know? It's like, all right, it's a double, animal style. We got, this is straight from China. That is Kung Pao chicken, you know? Kung Pao chicken isn't served at In-N-Out, but you see what I'm getting at, okay? Roll with me. Use your imagination, okay? I know a lot of us have lost it along the way, but you still got imagination. And that's good. So, running around, trying to make this podcast work, but not even having a format for a podcast. And just trying not to think about the world, you know? There's a new conspiracy theory every week. I just bought sunscreen, and now they say sunscreen causes cancer. Well, what am I supposed to do? Do you get cancer from the sun? Which cancer is worse? Do you compare cancers? Can Gemini help me with that? Is there an Amazon compare and contrast page for cancers? Huh? Do I do the sunscreen and then get that kind of cancer? Or do I go in the sun and get that kind of cancer? Or do I just bake my head in a microwave and just get it over with really, really quickly? It's the Thego Lopez podcast. I'm glad you guys are here. We could look at the news, but oh God. I mean, Trump just got $1.6 billion. For what? I don't know. I don't understand. I'm too stupid to understand. He got, it was like somebody said $100 billion, and then it was $1.6 billion, but then it's not his, but then he can say what he does with it. Give me $1.6 billion. Even if I can't do anything, I'll tell you what to do with it. I know exactly what to do with it. You take every single park in the county, every single park, you deck it out with just benches and lots of things for the kids to do, and then in the back, free coffee. Just free coffee. You want the parents to go to the park more? Give free coffee. Yeah. And then bring down some of those gas prices. Put a gas station right next to the park and have the gas be $1.50 a gallon. Hell, no, 89 cents a gallon. Let's do that. Let's get back to the people. Can we get back to the people? When's the last time the people felt like they've gotten anything but a giant shaft? The old shaftaroni. That's the lesser known Chef Boyardee brand. Shaftaroni. That's what I've been eating. Shaftaroni and cheese. So good. You can pick it up with chopsticks because it's really thick and it goes right up your ass. Yeah, shaftaroni and cheese. Such a treat for me. Thank you, Chef Boyardee. The following episode is sponsored by Chef Boyardee. How's everyone else been? How's everyone else been dealing with this just constant back and forth between slumber and work, and then trying not to think about all of the shit around you and just diving into your social media? Everyone's on their social media. I'm trying to stay away from it, but everyone's on their social media because that's where we get away from things, That's where I learn about things. I should write about the things that I see on the old social medias, the old memes, Now I'm getting a lot of relationship memes since they know that I inadvertently, without meaning to, threw my relationship into a toilet and then gave it a swirly and then sat down on it and then took a giant, massive steamer and then just left it floating in there and then pissed all over it for like a month. You ever leave a shit in the toilet and then piss all over it? Ooh, it's aromatic. It's a form of aromatherapy. Next time you want some good aromatherapy? Go to your bathroom, take just a massive log, and just leave it in there. Leave it in there for a week. But every time you gotta piss all over it. Like it's a log rolling competition. And you're trying to go around and around and around and around and around and around like they do on ESPN3. And then you kind of get the feeling of what I'm talking about. Yeah. Thego Lopez podcast. I gotta do more self-advertising. So I'm trying to say the Thego Lopez podcast a lot. So maybe the algorithm will pick it up more. What else? I don't know. War in Iran, chicken fingers, Donald Trump, Israel. Pick it up, AI. Send it to as many as people. Send it. Remember, I don't know how to talk. Send it to as many people as possible. Just get everyone looking at this podcast. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. The rigmarole of life. So, I've been trying to fix my relationship with baby mama. And baby mama is slowly but surely thinking about possibly, maybe giving me another chance. But you know who doesn't want her to give me another chance? Everyone else on earth. I got a steep hill to climb. It's a big hill. Some would call that hill so big, it's a mountain. I got a mountain to climb. A big old mountain. But she's worth it. Man, if you knew this woman. She could be described as a Amazonian Viking warrior queen. She's so powerful. She's just above all else, And I'm just prioritizing her. She is my priority. My kids are my priority. This podcast is my priority. Now, you might not believe it because I'm shrugging every time I say that. My podcast is my priority. It is. My podcast is my priority, okay? Even though it's very difficult for me to release them on time because I just don't have the time. And then I don't have a computer. And then I try to use the computer here and it's just a Mac. I don't know how to use Macs. Roberto, how are we doing? We doing good? Roberto, gracias. ¿Está todo bien? Qué bueno. Israel, Donald Trump, In-N-Out Burger. I'm starting to sound very Count Dracula when I try to do the Spanish. I am Spanish. You gotta believe me. My name's Thego Lopez. Look at my hair. I haven't washed my hair in a while. Wow. Oh, because of Neotropolis. Man, let me tell you about Neotropolis. Neotropolis is a festival that happens once a year in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And I, Thego Lopez, with baby mama, we'll call her Manuka Prime. We go out into the middle of the Mojave Desert with a trailer full of stuff, and we build a 20-foot by 20-foot structure in the middle of the goddamn desert, in the middle of a fake city. And this whole city is revolved around a movie, and that movie is called Blade Runner. It's an interesting concept in a futuristic, dystopian, cyberpunk city set in the future but built now. It's the world of tomorrow, today, that I went to yesterday. But not literally, metaphorically. A metaphorical yesterday's tomorrow world of today. Yeah. And I go out there and I just have a lot of fun. And I create characters. Of course, one of them is Thego Lopez. So I go out there and we just barter with people and we sell merch. I should wear that merch. I'm hemorrhaging money. I still owe my babysitter, and my babysitter is my friend, and my friend is not talking to me because it's going to take a while to pay her back, and she's not happy about that. I wouldn't be happy about that. If you worked and then were told, hey, I can't pay you until July, you'd probably burn the building down with everyone inside. And you'd be justified too. The judge would be like, made you wait how long for your paycheck? You know what? Let's build the building again so that you can re-burn it, and then we can film it and then give you an award for it. That's how justified you are. So, to my friend who babysat for me, who will remain nameless, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I did not expect that to happen. I thought I was going to make money. Instead, I lost money. So let's talk about some of the ways that I lost money. So on the way down, we used a trailer. We built a 7 by 17 foot flat trailer. It's a flat trailer. It's really fat. Out of old wood that we had in the backyard. It was rotting. Some of it was good. Then we put everything on top of that trailer, and then we ratchet strapped it down to the rusty bars on the side of it. Some of this stuff was squishy. And I realized that things shift. You know, the airplane, when they say things may have shifted in the overhead compartment during flight, and then you might want to be careful, and you're like, dude, shut up. Shut up, pilot. You yell up to the front, hey, pilot, shut up, right? You yell, and then you're like, she doesn't know what he's talking about. And then you open up the compartment, and then a sword comes out. And then you're dead. Because you didn't listen to the pilot. Because things shifted during the flight. Next time, listen to the pilot. You won't get a sword in your head. Well, that's what happened. Metaphorical swords rained down upon my noggin. Just shing, 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 shing. That's what happened. So, I lost my luggage. Fun fact about me, I'm a minimalist, so I don't have many things. So I lost most of my clothing. I lost a lot of personal items. I lost my shampoo, my $50 conditioner, which is why my hair looks like this. We lost our stove for cooking. We lost 2 toxic waste barrels. We'll get to that in a minute. And we lost 25 cans of spray paint. 25 cans of special order, really nice neon colored spray paint. All of that fell on the 580 going through Oakland. And we weren't aware. We did, also about 100 feet of insulation and $2,000 worth of merch. I just want to repeat that because I had a cough there. $2,000 worth of merch that we invested with money that we did not have. So we used credit cards to buy merch so we could pay back the credit cards, and then the merch fell fell off the back of the trailer because we didn't secure it properly, and things shifted. So, little piece of advice for all you Neotropolites out there, and you're traveling with a big trailer, here's what you do. You strap everything down, then when you get on the highway, you get up to speed, you count to 5 Mississippi, because that's a long time, and then you pull over and you check your trailer. That's what you do. Or if not, you may end up like us. So we're just driving along, eating our burritos from Banda Burrito, which is a bullshit burrito place. Do not buy from Banda Burrito. Banda Burrito is Denny's. It's just Denny's. Just buy a regular egg and hash brown platter and then bring some tortillas and buy your own tortillas. It was not good. It was not a good burrito from Banda Burrito. Do not recommend them. But we were hungry. We were eating them. We're drinking our coffees. We're having fun conversation as two people who are in love, but at the same time cautiously optimistic about one another and the pain that we could possibly do to each other in the future, have with one another. And all of a sudden, a bright yellow Corvette, a really nice Corvette, one of the new ones, the kind with the engine that's kind of in the back, one of those, pulls up right alongside us. And he goes, "Hey, you lost all your shit." And we go, "What?" And we look in the back, and we couldn't see anything because there were so many things piled up in the front. We didn't know what he was talking about. So we pull over, and we see that we had lost a lot of shit. So we turn around, and we're just on the opposite end of the 580, looking, trying to find where our things are. And finally, over the crest of a hill, passing by Seminary Boulevard, we see it, the toxic waste barrels. I told you we'd get back to them. So, we picked up 2 toxic waste barrels. Before you start calling the EPA, I want to let you know, they are fake. Just someone spray painted the words toxic waste on some methylamine, whatever Walter White made that meth out of. It sounds like that, but it's not. It's something different, but it sounds like it. We just spray painted it on 2 empty barrels and then put some foam, painted it green. It was really nice. We found them on the highway, but they were already scooched to the side, and just a Jackson Pollock painting right in the middle of the 580 of cans of spray paint that had exploded. So we try to find how to get back to that side of the freeway, and when I flip a U-turn, lose more merch. So just dropping merch, just hemorrhaging merch, right? I'm so sorry I can't pay you, babysitter, okay? Things went really wrong, all right? So we finally get there, and we pull over, and I'm looking at all the spray paint, and it's gone. The spray paint's just gone. Most of it can't be saved. So I'm trying to save the spray paint that I can. And as cars are passing by, I look in the highway. There is a ratchet strap. There's the plywood that we're going to use for spray paint, and there is a crowbar. And people are running over this crowbar at 80 miles an hour. And I don't know if you know how unnerving it sounds. A crowbar being run over at 80 miles an hour. Pang! Pew! Sounds like someone's shooting at you and you're getting the ricochets. Go play Call of Duty and put in the Dolby Atmos. It kind of sounds like that. Pew, pew, pang, pang. And we just want to get this thing. I'm like, someone is either going to Final Destination me, this thing is going to come whipping at my forehead, and metaphorical swords are going to become literal crowbars. Just right there in the old noodle, in the old cabeza. I'm watching it. The plywood can be saved. The ratchet strap, gone. Dog shit. It's gone. I'm like, all right, fine. Let that go. Try to get the plywood. But every time I can, it's the 580. The 580 is one of the busiest highways in the Bay Area. You can't just go on the 580. And then this beautiful man pulls over. This beautiful Mexican angel comes out of the bushes, it seems, and says, "Órale pues, ¿cómo estás? Hey, I'm gonna help you." And I'm like, "How can you help us, you beautiful, portly Mexican man?" And he goes, "Look, do you want to get your thing?" And I go, Pang! Yes, I do. Pang! Oh my God, yes, please help us. And he just walks into traffic. He just walks onto the 580 and tells the cars to move over. He told the cars on the 580 to get out of his way. And you know what? They did. They obeyed his every Hispaniola command. And he got my stuff. He just went and picked it up. He was like, amigo, ¿cómo estás? Here you go, my friend. Hey. I was like, what do I owe you? He said, nada, señor. Es todo por el corazón. I was like, wow. It's very good of you. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. We never found the suitcase. We never found the oven. We never found the merch. We found some of the merch. We found the t-shirts. The yellow t-shirts that I designed, they left on the floor. People from Oakland who scavenged my stuff like vultures, who took whatever they could of value, left $1,000 of bright yellow shirts that I designed. It's safe to say that I did not sell one of those shirts at Neotropolis. They were not a popular shirt. They're not a popular color. Yeah, they're just not. They're just not. I later on, because I just kept thinking about that suitcase, and I'm like, what could have happened to it? And there were reports of a suitcase that was called on. Like, they called the police and they said, hey, there's a suitcase here on the 580. You might want to get it. And by the time the cops got there, it was gone. So we said, you know what? Let's just keep going. We're already here. We've got our shitty band of burrito. We've got our sweet, sweet coffee. And we still have like 6 hours to go, which always takes 14 hours because it's Neotropolis time. Neotropolis time is different from regular time. Oh yeah. You leave at 6 in the morning, you think you're going to get there at 5 at night? You are not, my friend. You are going to go down Rosewood Avenue, and anyone who knows about Neotropolis knows Rosewood Avenue is that final avenue. You're right there. You're almost there, but you're still 20 minutes away because you got to drive so slow because the road sucks. So we say, let's keep going. We hold hands, because we're holding hands cautiously holding hands, and then letting go, and then holding hands, letting go. We're just back and forth holding hands, and they'd be like, I don't know about you. All right, I love you, but I don't know about you, but I love you, and you better not hurt me, but I love you. And then the trailer starts giving problems because one of the lights got knocked off. And we don't know what to do because we're not electricians and we're not car scientists. We don't know about cars. So we then realize that the reason why the trailer is giving us problems is because the 7-pin connector has been dragging on the floor for 157 miles. And now we need to rebuild a 7-pin connector that we do not know how to do. I think we were in Merced, and we're from Santa Rosa. So we're in Merced at an AutoZone. And the guy's like, well, if you want, and my friend Art, he works on trailers. I said, oh, what's the name of his business? Art's Trailer Business. I said, well, that's very unoriginal, but I didn't say that. I told him it was very interesting. I think it's something like that. Well, that's interesting. Art's Trailers by Art, you know? Called him, didn't answer the phone. So, with no one to help us, we turn to who everyone turns to now. Who do you turn to? That's who I turn to. Come on, we can say it at the same time. AI. We ask the artificial intelligence overlords of our dystopian lives how to build a 7-pin trailer in an AutoZone parking lot in Merced, California. And it did not do well. It got a hodgepodge of information, kind of put together an answer, and we ended up wiring the thing wrong. How wrong? I don't know, because I don't know what right is. I had no baseline. So if I don't know what right is, I don't know how wrong I went. If I don't know which direction I'm going to and I veer off, I don't know how veered I am. is an unknown amount of Veer. I think that's going to be the name of this episode, an unknown amount of Veer. It's kind of how I do the whole episode, which is talk, 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 and then I veer from the original point, an unknown amount of Veer, and then I try to head back, try to steer back towards it, like a little tugboat, just dying to get back into shore and show people how many rock crabs I found that day. So we're in Merced, in an AutoZone parking lot, trying to put together a 7-pin trailer that neither Manuka or I have ever built before, and we wired it wrong. And it starts to wreak havoc on the electrical system of my truck. But we make it down. I think we make it down at about 9:59 p.m. And it's a miracle that we did. I don't know how we did it. We have a fun Neotropolis. We connect so well that she says, you know what? You might not have to wait 900 days, Thego Lopez. You might have to wait maybe 850. I think I got like a $50 or a 50-day knockoff from the probation. I might only have to wait 850. I don't know. I'm not pushing my luck. I'm working really, really hard on this relationship like I've never worked before. So, the last day, we are caught in a windstorm in the Mojave Desert. We start tearing down our building at 8 in the morning, and we don't stop until 1:30 in the morning the next day. And we have reservations that we're going to stay at a hot springs in San Luis Obispo. And man, San Luis Obispo just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? It's a great city, just because it's such a great name. San Luis Obispo. Oh, yeah. Staying at a resort in San Luis Obispo. That's what we were going to do. It is 1:30 in the morning, and it was 5 hours away. And I was going to crash that vehicle if I tried to drive because I was mentally and physically exhausted. So we leave the gate of Neotropolis. We make a left onto Rosewood. I park because now we're getting up to speed and we're checking. Remember? You remember that? We're checking a lot. We're very paranoid. Oh, by that point, I had also lost a propane tank. And not realizing that propane tank smashed the brake release controller, the breakaway controller that I had for the trailer. But I didn't know that at that point. So I park it. I go to check everything. I go back, and my dashboard lights up like a frickin' F-35 pilot's screen. Just scream, chomp, show. It's all the lights in the world. And it won't go into gear. My car stopped working at 1:30 in the morning in the middle of the desert, in the middle of a windstorm. And I have the love of my life, the woman that I would take a bullet for, right next to me, exhausted, hungry, scared. Probably not scared. I was probably more scared than she was. But definitely hungry. And definitely tired. And definitely about to fucking punch me in the head if I didn't get this fucking car working. Okay? So, I did a little trick called shift override. Didn't want to shift into gear, so I made it shift into gear. I was like, and just push a little button. It's called shift override. Look it up, Google it. Tell your AI to tell you where your shift override button is at. We all have one. It's there. And I said, Manuka, I might veer into a Subaru Forester if I try to drive to San Luis Obispo. And I will not have our fate be the front end of a Subaru Forester, probably an XT, be the last thing we see in our lives. So I'm going to buy a hotel room at the Best Western. We're going to sleep there. And the next day we're going to get up and we're going to try to understand what's happening with the car. We have a wonderful evening. We sleep. We're so tired. I find laundry services in the hotel. So I just do laundry. All the clothes just bleed black because it's just dirt. Just dirt from the desert. We take shower. We bleed black because it's just dirt in our hair and in our pores and everything. And then we get up and, of course, we go to McDonald's because that's what you do when you leave the desert after a week. You go to a McDonald's and you get yourself the biggest, thickest, juiciest burger that they can make. You ask them that. You're like, what's the tallest burger you can make without it falling over? They give you that. You get a nice big French fry and a sweet, sweet soda. Car's still not working. Still doing shift override. But I'm like, I need to go home. We have a child. I have a job. We have things we need to do. So somewhere around, I think an hour north of Bakersfield, the battery light comes on. So all the lights are on. Now the battery light comes on. Now I'm freaking out. Now I'm like, okay, now we are fucked. We got nothing. And Manuka, of course, pulls me by my ear gently because she's firm, but she's gentle. Okay? Manuka squeezes, but she doesn't strangle. Okay? She grabs me by your ear, kind of firm, and she goes, you get your shit together. And I'm like, oh God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And she tugs a little harder. She goes, you were going to calm down, you were going to man the fuck up, and you were going to find an AutoZone. And we're going to get the battery tested for free. I said, okay, that's what we're going to do. So we go to an AutoZone. The battery gets tested. The battery is fine. Why is the battery light on? Half hour later, I think to myself, you know what? I bet you a fuse is blown. Why don't we go to another AutoZone and buy some fuses? The following episode is brought to you by AutoZone. AutoZone Auto Parts. When you're fucking your car just 6 ways to Sunday, go to AutoZone. They'll try to help you out the best they can, but they don't perform miracles. That should be the slogan for AutoZone. AutoZone, we can't perform miracles. Good luck out there. So, I buy some fuses. I find 2 fuses that are blown on my car. I pop them in. Then, I plug the trailer in. One of the fuses blows again. But I can shift into gear. I'm like, okay. So I shift into gear. We're going to just try as best as we can, unplugged. We're going to leave the trailer unplugged and head out. An hour later, in Redwood City, California. City of industry. So much industry. What does a man want to do in Redwood City? Why, he just wants to make a house at the base of a mountain, just smelt some metal, break it down and sell it to semiconductor manufacturers for AI chips. That's the dream of Redwood City. That's what happened. We broke down, just like the man trying to sell the metal, who broke down because his business wasn't that profitable. And all these regulations came into California and he didn't know what to do. Now he just sits in a small town at a diner eating something called the Creole Kahuna Burger, which is like crawdad smashed into bison meat and then sprinkled with way too much salt. Ugh. I ate it anyway. It was good. So we're there in Redwood City, and my car just dies. It dies. And now we have no battery. We have no money. We have no car. We're 82 miles from home. And I need to have answers. So I sit there and I just think, and I think, and I think some more. And nothing is coming. Nothing is coming up here. I'm broke. I gotta go hook. I gotta sell my butthole to get some pesos to try to buy a battery to get back home. So she gets the idea. She goes, why don't I call AAA? I'll call AAA. We'll try to sign up. We'll see if they can tow us right away. And I said, okay. Well, I'm just going to sit here. And I'm just going to be calm. And I'm going to be even-keeled. And I'm just going to project strength. And I'll just have strength for you. And then Manuka goes, ugh, what was that? Like, what do you mean? She goes, did you just pat yourself on the back for being even-keeled? I go, yeah. She goes, don't do that. Be a man and shut up. Don't brag about it. I don't want to hear you brag about being even-keeled. That's not what men do. That's what boys do. Look what I did, Mommy. No, don't do that. Just sit there and be quiet. And I did. I did be quiet. Because she knows how to raise a man. Mommy knows how to raise a man. And we called AAA. We called AAA, and they said they would take us 5 miles today and then 100 miles tomorrow. We said, we need to go 5 miles today. And they said, well, we can't. I said, okay, so we'll go 5 miles. And then a highway trooper came up. I said, what are you doing here? I said, you don't even want to know. It's a long story. He goes, that's kind of my job. Tell me the story or I'm taking you to jail. I said, okay. So I told him the whole story. And he goes, that is a hell of a story. You should make a podcast out of it. I said, I will, officer. I will. And he goes, how about I give you a jump? I said, okay. So he tried jumping the car. The car jumped and then immediately died. I know what that means. That means more money. Because usually it's just a battery. But now it's like other parts, like an alternator. So I said, all right, well, let me call AAA back and tell them to tow us the 5 miles. When I call back, the lady on the phone says, hey, I see you are part of the Plus plan. You're good for 100 miles. We are? She says, yes, you are. And I didn't ask any other questions. I said, okay, take us home. And then a Persian man picked us up who knew no English. Just a Persian man with no English under his belt. Everything I said was 3 okays. Everything. Hey, are you gonna hook up the car now? Okay. Are we riding with you, or do we need to get a ride from someone? Okay. And then the only thing he knew was I take car. I take car. You truck. I take car. I was like, okay, let's do it. So he take truck, and we get car. So no. I think I got that backwards. Anyway, he hooked it up to his towing vehicle, and then we squished into this 2-person cab, 3 people, and I sat in the middle because I didn't want Manuka sitting next to this giant, burly Persian man who would probably sniff her all the way home. So we got to the... Oh, and I told him, please drop my car off at the mechanic and then drop us off at home. Can you do that? Can you drop my truck off at the mechanics and then drop us off at home? He says, okay. I said, are you sure? I just want to understand that you understand. Do you understand that I'm telling you to drop the mechanic off? He goes, address. You address. Okay. So I put in my address. And then when he took us to the mechanic, he said, sign. And I signed. And that was a mistake. Because once I signed, he got in the truck and he abandoned us there. And I said, wait, aren't you going to take us to our home? He goes, I drive it. Okay. And he sped off. And Manuka was like, I've dated a lot of Persian men. They're like that. That's kind of their demeanor. I was like, okay, well, at least we're a little bit home. We're almost home. So we took an Uber. We sat there waiting for the Uber at a Shell station at 12:30 in the morning. And she said, would you like some Doritos? I'll buy us some Doritos. And we can eat some Doritos while we wait for the Uber. And she bought me nacho cheese Doritos. And she got herself a bag of Cool Ranch. And I gave her my jacket so she could use it as a little pillow on the ground, because she has a giant bruise on her ass because we both fell on our asses trying to load the trailer in the middle of a windstorm in the Mojave Desert at 1 a.m. And that was really, really overwhelming. But we're there. And we're just sitting there in silence. you hear the intermittent sounds of a car passing by, and just the crunching of potato chips. And she leans her head as she rested on my shoulder. And to me, that's love. That is a love that you can't replicate with any sort of social media, with any sort of drug. It is a love that is as pure and as timeless as the wind itself. And it's a love that we need to start to come back to. And let go of all of this crap that we're holding on to, and go out on an adventure. We need more adventures in our lives. We don't have enough adventures. Partly because we're scared of everything now, partly because we're too broke to go on adventures. But just start small. Go out there. Go on a trip around the block. That's an adventure. You ever see the other side of your block? Probably not. You ever talk to your neighbors 3 doors down? Ew, gross. Yeah, that's probably what you're thinking. But you know what? Maybe they know some stuff, huh? Maybe they were at Woodstock in 1969 and they remember the lineup. Maybe they were in the earthquake of 1989 and they survived and they saw a car get crushed next to them. Maybe they were on the bridge that like sandwiched itself, and then they were like in between a gap, and then they looked over and then like a beam fell on the car right next to them, and they're like splat, and they got like blood splatter all over their face because their window was down because they were enjoying the California sunshine, so their window was down. They didn't think about an earthquake. And then they like, oh my God, and then they have memories, traumatic memories, but memories nonetheless. And you can learn from other people. And that's also what adventure gets you. It gets you connections with others. And it's a form of growth that is also not replicated on your TikTok, on your Facebook. TikTok and Facebook have their time. TikTok and Facebook have their value. But true meaningful connection is not made there, okay? It's made on a curb, in the grass, at 12:30 in the morning, eating a bag of Doritos, scared with the person that you love. Yeah. Have a great week, everybody.